Good morning, this is your math sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is a warm-up, and we are going to classify whether they're a function or not, and whether and we're also going to give the domain and range. And we are working with discrete because it's the dots or the points, it's the ordered pairs, it's not connected, it's not continuous. So first off, is this a function or not? And if I draw a vertical line here, hey, it passes for there. But right here, we have a failure, and we also have a failure here. So the answer is no, it's not a function. And why isn't it a function? Because x equal 2 and x equal 4 repeat. So no, it is not a function. X equals 2 repeats, and x equals 4 repeats. Now, we technically only needed one of those to repeat for it to not be a function, but in this case, we have two that are repeating. When I go to the next, so then it asks for the domain and the range. And at this point, I want to go x, y, and make a list. So I have a 0, 3 right here. And then I have a 2, 1 and a 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4. Then I have a 4, -1, and I also have a 4, +5. So when we're writing domain and range, we do not write repeats. So the domain in this case is going to be 0, 2, 4. We only have to list three numbers, even though we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ordered pairs. Now, please make sure that they're in order from least to greatest like we have here. Well, our least y value or range is -1. So we can check that off. The next one is 1. The next one is 3. Then we have a 4 and a 5. So that's our range. Okay. All right. Does the graph represent a function? Well, once again, I'm only hitting one point. Vertical line test. Everywhere I draw, I'm only hitting one point. So yes, this is a function. Why? Because no x repeats. So the answer is, does the graph represent a function? Yes. Why? No x repeats. Okay, so our ordered pairs. Our first one is it -4, -3. Then we have a -3, -1. Then we have a -2, 1. And then we have a, oops, drew that wrong, a -1, 3. Then we have a 1, 1. And then we also have a 2, -3. And if we look at this over here, we said, oh, the twos repeat and the fours repeat, and that's what we said. But over here, there's no repeats, and that's what we said, no x repeats. So -4, -3, -2, -1, 1, and 2. And my range, we always start with the smallest, but we don't write repeats. So -3, well, that takes care of this one and this one. The next one is -1. And we have two of those. So we'll check this one and this one. Then we have, you know what? I skipped a point. I skipped 0, 1. 0, 1. So I need to put a 0 here because 0 goes right there. And then I have a 1. And we have 2 of those. And then at 3, there's only 1 3. Yeah, I missed this one. Okay. All right. So when all said and done, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And really, that 0 right here should be up here, but I left it out. Sorry about that. All right. These are my x values. These are my y values. Is it a function or non-function? Let's check it out. So negative 3, 10. You should always make a t-chart with these. Negative 4, 11. Negative 4, 12. And I see this right here. So this is a non-function. Why is it a non-function? X equals negative 4 repeats. Continuing on, we also have a negative 5, 13. So my answers are negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, and 10, 11, 12, and 13 are my range. Once again, we have our X's and our Y's. And I see a 4, 5, and an 8, 5. And immediately I go, hey, the 5s repeat. But Y's can repeat, so that doesn't make it not a function. It's the X's that can't repeat. Then we have 12, 10, and 16, 15. When I look at this, no X repeats. So this is a function. Why? Why is it a function? No X repeats. And our domain is 4, 8, 12, 16, least to greatest. And over here, 5, 10, 15. Notice we did not record the repeats. Okay, so domain and range. Domain and range. I know this number line doesn't help show up really well, but hopefully it'll help. This is for the y values, and these are for the x values. So this is what we were discussing yesterday. So I'm not going to go into great detail, but we are for the domain, it's left to right. So our furthest to the left occurs right here. I'll put this in pink so it shows up. And that's at negative 4. So I'm going to plot negative 4 as a solid because that's what it shows here. All right. And then my furthest to the right is at positive 4. So we have this area right here. That's what we have. So that is negative 4 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 4. Okay? For the range, well, we're going to start at the lowest value. Start it at the bottom. So our range starts at negative 5. And it should be a hollow. All right, so our range is negative 5. It's a hollow. And then our highest point is at positive 5. And at positive 5, we have a solid. So we have this. So negative 5. This is a hollow, so it gets the less than sign. This is y less than or equal to 5. And that's a solid, so this gets the less than or equal to sign. Okay? So moving on, what's furthest to the left? Well, furthest to the left, because we're doing the domain, furthest to the left is negative 4, and it's a solid line. So it gets a solid point. Furthest to the right is positive 3, and it's a solid point. So this is what we have. Negative 4 less than or equal to x. Because it's a solid, it gets a less than. This is a solid, so it also gets a less than, and then 3. The range. Well, the range starts at negative 3, and at negative 3, we have a solid. And at the top, so this was the bottom, and at the top at 5, we have a hollow, so we're going to mark a hollow. So in this case, -3, leave a space, and 5. This is a solid, so it gets a less than or equal to. This is a hollow, so it gets a less than. All right, want to make a note off to the side. Domain. Left to right. Range. Bottom to top. All right. I hope this helps. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.